Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Daily English Channel. I'm Amelia.
Hello, Amelia, and hello to everyone watching. I'm Michael.
Today, we are talking about something that every single English learner has experienced.
Common mistakes, the errors that beginners make repeatedly.
And here is the good news. These mistakes are completely normal. They're part of learning.
But the better news is, once you know what these mistakes are, you can fix them.
That is exactly right. Before we start, please subscribe to Mr. Daily English Channel.
Yes, and if this video helps you, please give us a like. Share it with anyone learning English.
Now, Michael, let's dive in. What is the first common mistake that beginners make?
The first mistake is mixing up present simple and present continuous.
Can you explain that?
Sure. Beginners often say things like, I am studying English every day.
But what is the correct way?
The correct way is, I study English every day, or I am studying English right now.
So the difference is when you use am or are studying versus just study.
Exactly. Present simple is for regular habits. Present continuous is for something happening right now.
This is a really common mistake.
It is. Beginners confuse these all the time because in many languages there is no difference.
So what should beginners do?
Pay attention to the time signal. If it is a regular habit, like every day or every week, use present simple.
And if it is right now, not I talk to you right now.
Use present continuous. I am talking to you right now.
Not I talk to you right now.
Exactly. That would be wrong.
What is the second common mistake?
The second mistake is using too many words.
Too many words?
Yes, beginners often try to say everything in one sentence.
Can you give an example?
Sure. A beginner might say, yesterday I went to the store and I bought some milk and I went home and made tea.
And what would be better?
Much better to say, yesterday I went to the store and bought milk, then I went home and made tea.
So breaking it into smaller sentences.
Yes, shorter sentences are easier to understand and they sound more natural.
This is actually a really smart mistake to avoid.
It is. Native speakers use short sentences too.
What is the third common mistake?
The third mistake is using incorrect word order.
Incorrect word order.
Yes, in English, the order of words is very important.
Can you give an example?
Sure. A beginner might say, I like very much chocolate.
But the correct way?
The correct way is, I like chocolate very much, or I really like chocolate.
So the adverb goes in a different place.
Exactly. The basic English word order is subject, verb, object.
Subject, verb, object. I like chocolate.
Yes, and then adverbs or other information come after.
This is fundamental.
It is, and many languages have different word orders, so this confuses beginners.
What is the fifth common mistake?
Forgetting to use the definite article, the.
The definite article the?
Yes, beginners often forget to use the when they should.
Can you give an example?
A beginner might say, I went to park yesterday.
But the correct way?
The correct way is, I went to the park yesterday, with the article the.
So when do we use the?
When you were talking about something specific, something the listener knows about.
So if I say park, it is unclear which park.
Right, but if I say the park, you know which park I mean.
This is tricky for beginners.
Very tricky, because not all languages have articles.
What is the fifth common mistake?
Using incorrect verb forms.
Incorrect verb forms.
Yes, past tense is especially difficult for beginners.
Can you give an example?
A beginner might say, I goed to school yesterday.
But the correct way?
The correct way is, I went to school yesterday. Went is the past tense of go.
So it's an irregular verb.
Exactly. English has many irregular verbs. Go becomes went. Come becomes came. Eat becomes ate.
Beginners do not know all of these.
They do not, so they try to add ed to everything.
What should they do?
Study irregular verbs, make flashcards, practice them regularly.
This is important because verb forms are everywhere in English.
They are, and incorrect verb forms make your English sound wrong.
What is the sixth common mistake?
Confusing similar words.
Similar words?
Yes, like affect and effect, or there and there.
Can you explain those?
Affect is a verb meaning to influence. Effect is a noun meaning a result.
So the weather affects my mood.
Yes, and the effect of the weather is that I feel happy or sad.
What about there and there?
There is possessive, their house. There is a place, over there.
These sound the same, but they are completely different.
Right, and beginners confuse them all the time.
What should they do?
Learn the difference, write it down, use it in sentences until it becomes automatic.
Practice makes perfect.
It really does.
What is the seventh common mistake?
Not using contractions appropriately.
Contractions?
Yes, like cannot versus can't, or do not versus don't.
When do we use contractions?
In spoken English and informal writing, contractions are very common.
So I can say, I do not like that, or I don't like that.
Exactly. But in formal writing, you might avoid contractions.
So beginners need to understand when contractions are appropriate.
They do, and some contractions are very commonly used.
Like what?
Like I am becomes I'm, I have becomes I've, they are becomes they're.
These are very natural in spoken English.
They are, so beginners should learn them.
What is the eighth common mistake?
Incorrect pronunciation of common words.
Pronunciation?
Yes. Many common English words are pronounced differently than beginners expect.
Can you give examples?
Sure. The word read can be pronounced two ways. Present tense rhymes with bed. Past tense rhymes with read.
That is confusing.
It is. Or the word live, to live somewhere, rhymes with give, but to live a life rhymes with five.
English pronunciation is not always logical.
No, it is often very illogical, which is frustrating for beginners.
What should they do?
Listen to native speakers, use resources like YouTube or podcasts, hear the words pronounced correctly.
This helps train the ear.
It does, and over time, pronunciation becomes more natural.
What is the ninth common mistake?
Not understanding question formation.
Question formation?
Yes, beginners often struggle with how to form questions correctly.
What do you mean?
A beginner might say, "You like coffee?" instead of, "Do you like coffee?"
The word order is different.
Exactly. In questions, the auxiliary verb comes before the subject.
So, do you like coffee, not you like coffee?
Right, and this rule applies to many questions.
What is another example?
Where you go should be where do you go?
Again, the auxiliary verb comes first.
Exactly. Beginners need to understand this pattern.
What is the 10th common mistake?
Not paying attention to subject-verb agreement.
Subject-verb agreement?
Yes, the verb needs to match the subject.
Can you explain?
If the subject is singular, the verb is singular. If the subject is plural, the verb is plural.
Can you give an example?
He go to school, that is wrong. It should be he goes to school.
The S at the end matters.
It does. Or they goes to school, that is wrong. It should be they go to school.
So plural subjects do not get the S.
Right. This is a basic rule, but beginners often forget it.
What is the 11th common mistake?
Overusing be verbs.
Be verbs?
Yes, am, is, are, was, were. Beginners rely too heavily on these.
What do you mean?
A beginner might say, I am happy, I am sad, I am tired.
That is correct, though.
It is correct, but it becomes repetitive and it makes English sound boring.
What would be better?
Using more varied verbs. I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel tired.
That is more interesting.
Much more interesting. So beginners should learn more action verbs.
What is the 12th common mistake?
Not using gerunds correctly.
Gerunds?
Yes, gerunds are ing forms used as nouns.
Can you explain?
A beginner might say, I like to swim, which is correct, but they might not know they can also say, I like swimming.
Both are correct?
Both are correct, but some verbs require gerunds.
Which ones?
Verbs like enjoy, finish, avoid, prefer. These are followed by gerunds.
So you say, I enjoy swimming, not I enjoy to swim.
Exactly. Beginners often do not know these patterns.
What is the 13th common mistake?
Not using incorrect prepositions.
Prepositions?
Yes, In, on, at, by, for, with. These are very tricky
Why are they tricky?
because they do not always translate directly from other languages, and the rules are not always logical.
Can you give an example?
You might say, I am in the bus, but the correct way is, I am on the bus.
Why on instead of in?
Because buses, trains, planes, we say on, but cars, we say in.
That seems arbitrary.
It does, but that is English. Prepositions often do not follow logical rules.
Beginners need to learn these by exposure.
They do. Reading, listening, speaking, repeated exposure helps.
What is the 14th common mistake?
Translating directly from their native language.
Direct translation?
Yes, beginners often think in their native language and then translate word for word into English.
And that does not work?
It rarely works because different languages have different structures.
Can you give an example?
In Spanish, you might say, me gusta el café, which literally translates, to me likes the coffee.
But in English?
In English, we say, I like coffee. The structure is completely different.
So direct translation is a trap.
A big trap. Beginners need to think in English, not translate.
How do they learn to do that?
By immersion, by listening, by speaking, by thinking in English as much as possible.
What is the 15th common mistake?
Not using articles when they should.
Articles again?
Yes, but this time the opposite problem, using a or an when they should not.
Can you give an example?
A beginner might say, I like a chocolate, but chocolate is uncountable.
So what is correct?
I like chocolate, no article. Or, I like a piece of chocolate.
So uncountable nouns do not take a or an.
Correct. Words like chocolate, water, music, information, these are uncountable.
This is complicated.
It is. Beginners need to learn which nouns are countable and which are uncountable.
What is the 16th common mistake?
Mispronouncing common names.
Common names?
Yes, days of the week, months, numbers. Beginners often mispronounce these.
Can you give an example?
Sure. The word schedule. Beginners might say schedule, but it is schedule.
Very different.
It is. Or the word Wednesday. It is Wednesday, not Wednesday.
English spelling and pronunciation do not always match.
They do not, which is frustrating.
What should beginners do?
Use online resources to hear the correct pronunciation. Repeat after native speakers.
Practice makes perfect.
It does.
What is the 17th common mistake?
Forgetting to use do or does in negatives.
Do or does?
Yes, a beginner might say, I not like that, but the correct way is, I do not like that.
The auxiliary verb is required.
It is. In English, you need do or does to make a negative statement in present simple.
So, I do not like, she does not like.
Exactly. This is a fundamental rule, but beginners forget it.
What is the 18th common mistake?
Incorrect capitalization.
Capitalization?
Yes, in English, certain words are capitalized. Days of the week, months, proper nouns.
Can you give an example?
A beginner might write, I like Monday, but it should be, I like Monday.
The I is always capitalized and Monday is capitalized.
Right, and if you write in English, capitalization shows professionalism.
So beginners should pay attention to this.
They should. It's a basic rule that shows you care about your writing.
What is the final common mistake?
Not listening enough.
Not listening?
Yes, many beginners focus only on grammar and vocabulary, but they do not listen to real English.
Why is listening important?
Because listening is how you internalize English, how you understand natural speech, how you hear correct pronunciation.
So listening is a crucial skill.
It is the most crucial skill. You cannot speak well if you have not listened enough.
What should beginners listen to?
Podcasts, videos, movies, music, anything in English. The more exposure, the better.
So the key is immersion.
Complete immersion, as much as possible.
Well, Michael, we have covered 19 common mistakes.
19 mistakes that beginners make repeatedly.
And the good news is, all of these are fixable.
Completely fixable, with awareness and practice.
So beginners should not feel discouraged.
No, these mistakes mean they're learning.
Exactly. Making mistakes is part of the journey.
The entire journey.
So our message to beginners is simple.
What's that?
Do not be afraid of mistakes. Embrace them. Learn from them. Keep going.
Every mistake teaches you something.
Something important.
Well, everyone, we hope this episode has been helpful.
Yes, whether you're a beginner or you teach beginners, this information is valuable.
Before we finish, we have something exciting coming next.
In our next episode, we're talking about advanced English phrasal verbs.
Phrasal verbs are one of the most confusing parts of English.
But we'll break them down, make them simple, show you how to master them.
So subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.
The link to our most popular episode about English idioms is in the description.
That video has helped thousands of learners understand English better.
Definitely check it out if you want to expand your vocabulary.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
We truly appreciate your support and your commitment to learning English.
See you in the next episode of Mr. Daily English Podcast.
Goodbye for now. Keep learning and keep growing.
Bye, everyone. See you next time.